Bojack, The Valeris Files, Saturday.
Thanks for joining us on Night Watch. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and we'll have some professional advice on what to give the one you love. Also, Don King will be with us. He's better known for promoting fights in Hearts and Flowers. And we'll meet the irrepressible Ed Grimley, Saturday Night Live's Martin Short. For Charlie Rose and the rest of the Night Watch staff, I'm Sam Ford. Have a great Wednesday.
This is CBS.
This is WCAU TV in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, transmitting on Channel 10 by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. WCAU TV is owned by CBS Incorporated and operated by the CBS Television Stations Division. The programs of this station are broadcast for viewing to the public without charge and may not be rebroadcast, recorded, or otherwise used without the prior written permission of CBS Incorporated. Good night and good morning.
General William Westmoreland, commander of the United States forces in Vietnam from 1964 to 1968, recently filed suit against CBS, charging that a documentary on the Vietnam War aired in 1982 was libelous. Former Israeli Defense Minister Ariel Sharon filed a similar libel suit against Time magazine. He charged that a 1982 story on the massacre of Palestinians in a Lebanese refugee camp damaged his reputation. Now the latest clash between the press and government involves the Washington Post's refusal to honor requests made by Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger to hold off stories about an upcoming military shuttle mission. These three separate incidents, among others, raise some interesting questions about the role of the media today. This morning, we'll try to answer some of those questions. I'm Chuck Stone. Welcome to Daybreak. The recent publicity involving the Westmoreland libel suit against CBS, the Sharon libel suit against Time magazine, as well as the Washington Post story on a secret shuttle mission present a challenge to analyze the so-called boundaries of journalistic license. Today, 4 views on the subject. We'll talk to Reed Irvine from a media watchdog group called Accuracy in Media, Jay Newman, Channel 10's news director, Joanne Omeng on the national staff of the Washington Post, and Gene Foreman, managing editor of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Colleagues, friends, are there differences in wrongdoing? And so I want to say this about Reed Irvine. He's written a book called Media Mischief and Misdeeds, and Jay said, we know where this program's going. Media Misdeeds and Mischiefs. But are there differences between, say, a libel suit, for example, and the alleged accusation of irresponsibility on the part of the Washington Post? Do you put them in the same category, or are they different in severity?
Well, if you're asking me, Chuck, you know, there are all kinds of libel suits that are available. The Westmoreland case, which is for $120 million and involves a former commander and world-renowned figure, is serious business, not only because of who it is, but also because the nature of the charges that were made. That is, that he is accused of having, in effect, betrayed the trust that was placed in him when he was commander, and possibly have caused a disaster that may have resulted in the loss of many, many lives. That's a very serious charge. We had the libel case, for example. Another well-known case was the one involving Carol Burnett, the comedian who was angry at the National Enquirer because it said that she was drunk in a restaurant in Washington.
Yeah, but I got to stop it here. There's a difference there. I think one was a question of irresponsible reporting in the Enquirer's part. I'm picking a judgment there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that CBS, in fact, most of the cases, I don't think there's a deliberate irresponsibility. I don't think people go out to libel others.
In the case of CBS? Well, no, in the case of CBS, that's what the whole issue is involved in the Westmoreland suit, is did they do it deliberately? Did they knowingly say things that weren't true? And so far, we've only heard from Westmoreland's witnesses.
Jay, this is his medium. How do you feel about this, and can you have an opinion on this? without putting you on the spot, Jim.
Well, to go back to your original question, Chuck, is there a difference? I think there's a difference in terms of the eventual outcome. In the Washington Post's decision to publish what some members of the government considered national security secrets, that's very clearly, in my view, an ethical question. Question of what is right and wrong, and the only outcome of that that I could see was a full-fledged discussion on journalistic ethics. In the case of the Time Magazine versus Sharon or CBS and Westmoreland, those two have spun off in discussions about journalistic ethics, but the severity in the case of our company, CBS, could be $120 million.
I want to ask Gene, as a managing editor, do you feel the Washington Post's decision was justified and right? Would you have done the same thing? We'll get to Joanne in just a second.
Okay. Well, from what I've read, I think that the Post acted responsibly. I think that, as Ben Bradley, the editor of the Post, has pointed out, much of what was reported in the story in question had already been available in public literature for some time before the Post published it. It was very much in the news at this particular point. General Abel having mentioned the upcoming mission in his remarks at press conference just a couple of days earlier. I think that these are all matters of judgment. My feeling is the Post did all right, and I don't take that lightly, and I know that the people at the Post didn't either.
Yeah, Joanne, you were in Central America for a while, weren't you? Did you ever encounter any instances where you felt that the press was being blacked out and not being given any true information or accurate information, deliberate misrepresentations, for example?
Oh, of course. I think that's part of being a journalist. You assume that everyone has things they'd like to have you print.
So people lie to the press, and the press prints it, then the press gets indicted for telling the lies, though.
Sure. You can't win. I think the best way you can go at it is to assume that everybody has a piece of the story. Nobody has the whole thing. And so you listen to people for what they tell you, and you figure, well, that's what they want me to hear. And there's probably more to it. You talk to other people and get their pieces. And you assume that people try to present their own case in the best possible light. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.